Hi everyone, this is Danielle Zanzarov from South Bay Wellness, and I'm excited to be here to talk to you today about simple detox. What are things that you can do on a regular basis to simply detoxify? So just a little bit about myself. So I am the Director of Holistic Health Services here at South Bay Wellness. And many people know me as the health nut, but full disclosure, did not begin this way. For the most part, I grew up like everybody else. I like to tell the story when my brother and I were young. We used to sit on the couch and we used to say, "Daddy, please bring home McDonald's. Daddy, please bring home McDonald's." And lo and behold, Daddy would be home with McDonald's, and then we had Carvel for dessert to boot, right? So I totally get the way that everybody is going out to McDonald's, having Carvel. It was just the norm for me when I was a kid. But I was also sick when I was a kid. I suffered from chronic infections. I always had some kind of earache or sinus infection, something respiratory going on. Always had asthma, hospitalized asthma where I wouldn't be able to participate in holidays and different events. It was pretty awful, even though I thought that it was just the normal way that everybody lived. And then I went off to college, and in college, that's when my digestive issues started. And I did what I had known to do, right? I went to the doctor. The doctor did some tests and procedures, and he wrote me a prescription and said, "Hey, Danielle, take this for the rest of your life." And at that point, I kind of went, wait a second, for the rest of my life. And it occurred to me that maybe there was something wrong here. And so began my inquiry into health and wellness and really trying to figure out, well, what is it that makes it work? What is it that the body needs? Because the body is truly extraordinary. And the more I learned, the more entrenched I got. And, here I am later. I'm in my 11th or 12th year of practice here. I have a PhD in natural medicine, master's studies in clinical nutrition and functional medicine. And so day in and day out, what I love to share with people is that we can take power and control of our health. We don't need to suffer from chronic illnesses and diseases. And we can get to the root cause of what's happening so that we can feel good. And today we're going to take a step into simple detoxification measures so that you too can have some vibrance. So let me just share my screen here with you, and we'll get started. So just for full disclosure, everything that we talk about this evening is for educational purposes. If there's changes and things like that that you like to make, then you should certainly reach out to your doctor before you do so. Okay, so here we go. Look at these guys. They're happy, they're vibrant, they're excited. Isn't this how you wake up every day? Some of you are probably shaking your head no, but this is how we should be waking up every day. I know it's pretty normal for people to hit the snooze button 10 times, to not want to get up out of bed, right? To need coffee just to get us started. That's pretty much the norm. But I want to bring you some hope in that, by following simple things, you can actually reach the point where you are excited to get out of bed and you have as much energy as these two people have right here in this picture. So let's talk a little bit about toxins and why they are important. So toxins are things that are foreign to our body that can actually cause harm and damage to our body. And I like to use the rain barrel effect to highlight some of what happens. Right? So if you imagine a rain barrel, what happens with a rain barrel? As that rain barrel fills up, you can't actually see what's inside, right? When it begins to overflow, that's when you're like, oh, the rain barrel was full, okay? It's the same thing with the human body. It's like the toxin buildup is what's happening inside. It's that rain barrel filling up, and our bodies are ingeniously designed, right? And so they know how to deal with toxins. We obviously cannot live in a bubble. They know how to deal with the toxins. They know how to detoxify, but as those toxins come in faster than the body can manage, maybe because we don't have enough nutrients, maybe because we're just being exposed to too much, what happens is that rain barrel begins to overflow. And that overflow is typically what we call symptoms. So if we want to be vibrant and healthy like those other two people, then we need to really work on keeping that rain barrel down low. And we're going to figure out how to do some of that today. So first thing we need to know is that toxins are everywhere. We are exposed in so many different directions. I want you to think about the first couple of minutes of your day, right? So you went to sleep. How many of you were sleeping in organic cotton sheets on, an organic latex mattress with your organic pillows? If you didn't say you were, then you might have been exposed to different chemicals in your sheets, or maybe in the cleaners that you use to wash your sheets, okay? So we're in bed, we wake up, then our feet hit the floor. And for some of us, our feet hit the floor with carpets that have a bunch of different chemicals in them, formaldehydes, things like that, or maybe finished floors that have also a bunch of different chemicals in them. Then let's say we go to the bathroom. How many of you are using, toxin-free, chlorine, bleach-free toilet paper? Yeah, not many people are, okay, myself included. So we can't even find toilet paper these days, right? So, that's another exposure that we have. Then many of us get into the shower. And here we are, we turn on the heat, we turn on the water nice and high, so now it's filled with steam. We open up the door and then we lock ourselves in this box with this steam and this hot water that's got plenty of chlorine in it and other toxic chemicals. Now our pores are open. We're inhaling all of that steam, and all of a sudden we just got exposed to another set of chemicals. And we haven't even started with the shampoo and the conditioner and the shaving cream and maybe the toothpaste and the fluoride and the toothpaste, maybe our soap, okay, if we don't have the best non-toxic soap. And it's been like the first 5 minutes of our day. So you guys get the point, right? We are exposed to a tremendous amount of toxins. And that's just what's happening in our environment. We haven't spoken about other things as well, but I'll walk you through this slide a little bit. So we've got cans, right? That's the BPA linings of the cans actually cause interruption, for example, in our endocrine system. We have beautiful birthday cake. Look at those beautiful colors, except that those colors come from food dyes, and those food dyes do impact our body. Oh, then we've got the cell phone. Anybody not use a cell phone these days? Everybody uses it. But did you know that that cell phone produces electromagnetic frequencies that can interrupt the flow of the cells in your body? We are electromagnetic beings. So if we're using the cell phone with the EMFs, we know from scientific studies that, for example, calcium ion channels are interrupted. Now we have things leaking that aren't supposed to be leaking in and out of cells. Or take the plastic water bottle. When people used to go to the gym, the plastic water bottles were everywhere. Everyone's doing a good job hydrating, except that that plastic water bottle also has BPAs, bisphenol A, an endocrine disruptor. It interrupts the hormones and such in our body. Or how about produce? We got a beautiful basket of produce on this slide. If that produce is conventionally grown, that produce is laden with pesticides and herbicides that also disrupt the body. Anybody have any metal in their mouth? Take a look, because those mercury amalgam fillings create heavy metal toxicity within the body, okay? So take a look at any metal fillings that are in your mouth. How about animal protein? We take animal protein, which can be a concentrated source of toxins based upon the life of that animal. How about our skincare products? Or here's a big one. Toxins don't just have to be in our environment. Toxins can come from our own thoughts and our own beliefs, our own self-talk. If you think about the environment that we're living today in our country, there is fear that is rampant. That fear itself is a toxin. It interrupts the normal natural flow of the body. So I think Benjamin Franklin put it the best. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So the more we can avoid our exposure to toxins, and listen, none of us live in a bubble, nor should we, right? Well, I guess kind of when we're in quarantine, we're living in sort of a bubble. but we shouldn't be living in a bubble. Our bodies are able to deal with things, but the less exposure we have, the better off we are. So where do we start with toxicity? Well, the first place we start is with food. We really are what we eat. You can see the beautiful broccoli there, and then you got the cheeseburger and the fried chicken legs and the bun on top, okay? Just to be funny, but we really are what we eat. Every 35 days, our skin replaces itself, our liver takes a month, your body makes new cells from the food you eat. So what you eat becomes you. So you actually have a choice. So I like to share this continuum because, you know, when people come to my lectures, everybody's in a different place. And I just want you to know that wherever you are right now is okay, okay? The only thing I encourage you to do is move yourself along the continuum so you move further and further to the green, okay? So what we want to do is start with where you are and make better choices. So no matter where you are in the continuum, we can always move to the green. Let me give you an example, right? We can have a piece of apple pie that's been packaged and processed and, you know, the ultimate packaged processed apple pie. And we might put that on the far side of the red there. But then maybe we have some, I don't know, one of those containers of applesauce that's also processed, but maybe it doesn't have a whole bunch of added sugar, and that might be a little further towards the middle than over to the other side. Then we might take maybe just a conventional apple, and that we might put somewhere maybe along the middle. But then maybe we're going to have, I don't know, maybe some, an organic apple. Then we take that organic apple and we put that into the green. But now maybe we have an organic apple that we just picked from the tree of the organic farm, okay? And maybe that's the far side of the green. So it doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum, you just want to begin moving towards the green side. Make the best choices that you can. And this is one way that we begin to decrease our exposure to toxins. So what do we do when it comes to food? Well, the number one thing is eat a plant-based diet. The focus of our diet and nutrition should be plants, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes. That's where you want the focus of your diet to be. And we have plenty of scientific research that actually supports this. The more plant-based your diet, the better your health outcomes. But think about it, guys. All those beautiful phytonutrients in your food, they assist with detoxifying the body. They also assist with giving your body the nutrients that your body needs so that it's got the stores to actually begin the detoxification process. I like to share Dr. Joel Fuhrman's aggregate nutrient density index because this right here gives us an idea of what are the most powerful foods. How do we get the biggest bang for our bite? How do we get the most nutrient density? And you can see here you've got a lot of leafy green vegetables and then a lot of your berries, some of your citrus fruit there as well. So these are the foods that do give you the biggest bang for your bite and help you with that detoxification process. Okay, number 2. Avoid packaged and processed foods. If we're going to do a simple detox, just simply take the packaged and processed foods out of your diet, out of your home, out of your kitchen. And I promise you, if you do that one thing, you're going to be so much better off. So I share with people something that I created. It's called Fog Cam. It's the camera to see through the fog of the marketing, because marketing is rampant and it's not necessarily in our favor of our health, right? So the F is for food dyes. So remember that beautiful birthday cake before? Leave those food dyes alone. No food dyes. The next one are oils, especially oils that are hydrogenated. And I will share with you in my practice, I recommend that people stay away from oils in general because you're not getting much from those oils. Instead of having olive oil, have a real olive. Instead of having avocado oil, have actual avocado. This is going to bring your body nutritional benefit and nutritional density. The G is for GMOs. genetically modified organisms, and the top ones that show up in our food supply: corn, soy, canola, sugar from sugar beets, okay, yellow squash. These are ones you want to avoid, okay? And for those of you who don't know what genetically modified organisms are, GMOs, basically what's happened is they've spliced open the genes, inserted something from another species, for example, and created what's been called a frankenfood. So you want to avoid anything that's been genetically modified. The next one is corn sugar, high fructose corn syrup. Okay, every time they change the name as people begin to catch on that it's not a good thing. So you don't even see the words high fructose corn syrup anymore. They now just call it corn sugar, or I've even seen on labels now where they're just calling it fructose. But the corn in the United States anyway is genetically modified, so it is a first place to step away from corn in general, especially when it becomes a sweetener. Next one is artificial sweeteners. So things like Splenda, which is sucralose, sweet and low, equal, aspartame. These things are toxic for the body. You want to pull them out. Use sweeteners that are more natural. You can use honey. You can use real maple syrup. I like to use stevia. It's a leaf. I grow it in my garden. It tastes sweet. Be careful of things like Truvias and Purevias and things like that, which are not all pure stevias. And finally, the last one is MSG, or monosodium glutamate, okay, or other additives and preservatives. If a food product has an additive or preservative in it that you don't recognize, then you shouldn't be consuming that. Okay, so that's FODCAM. That's to help you whittle through the packaged and processed foods. But let's talk about some more strategies. Number one, fermented foods. Fermented foods are amazing, like real live sauerkraut. They provide your body with so much beneficial bacteria. And what you need to know is that beneficial bacteria is important for healthy functioning of the gut, healthy functioning of the immune system, healthy functioning of your detoxification. So fermented foods, have a little every day. We already covered the greens from the food score, the Andy food score there, but emphasis on those green vegetables, and emphasis here also on the fruits, like the citrus fruits, like lemons, limes, oranges, all really valuable for the detoxification process. If you just started your day with a glass of water with some fresh squeezed lemon every day, you'll start to feel the difference. What else in terms of food? The next piece here is high fiber foods. That fiber is needed, that bulk, think about it, that bulk as it goes through your digestive system helps sup up those things that shouldn't be there and carry them on out of the body. So the high fiber diet is very important, and legumes, beans are one way to get that fiber into your diet, okay? Mung beans is another one of my favorites. What else? Cruciferous vegetables. The scientific research on cruciferous vegetables and detoxification and health in general gives you good pause to begin to think about how can I get more of those cruciferous vegetables into my diet. Should be looking to get them in on a regular, daily, at least basis. The next thing for detoxification is raw foods. So raw foods contain their enzymes, so it helps to break them down. It is really important. If the minimum that you do is eat a big, huge salad a day, that would be a good start at the minimum, okay? Another nutrient-dense powerhouse is sprouts. Sprouts are loaded with nutrient density, and it's so easy. You can make them yourself. I'm sure you can YouTube how to make sprouts, right? Put in the seeds, put in the water, let them soak, drain and rinse, drain and rinse, drain and rinse, and lo and behold, in a couple days, you'll have beautiful nutrient-dense sprouts. And then another one on the list here is seaweed. So clean seaweed is very powerful. It's important for the thyroid, for example. It's a live source of iodine. So it's important for function throughout the body. So those are some foods for detox. What about herbs and spices? So if you want to detox, get some of these herbs and spices into your diet. garlic, cilantro, parsley. These are powerhouses. And you know what? They taste absolutely delicious. Chop them up fresh, throw them in your salad. Turmeric is another one. The scientific literature on turmeric as well is really extraordinary. You can search turmeric and diabetes, turmeric and cardiovascular disease, turmeric and inflammation, and you're going to come up with studies that show the power of turmeric in all of these different things. Cayenne being a hot warming spice, ginger, another one very powerful for detoxification. You also can make teas, detoxifying teas with dandelion or licorice root for your stomach, burdock root, again, the turmeric, milk thistle for your liver. And how about green tea? That's another real powerhouse of antioxidants. Honey is another one that people can use to assist in the detoxification process. Okay, what can you do on a daily basis to begin to detoxify? So number one on here is exercise. Exercise. We have to get movement into our daily lives, no matter what, right? Our cardiovascular system, it's got the heart, it pumps blood through, gets everything moving. Our lymphatic system, it's got basically your movement. So we need to get that movement in. It is a vital part. And listen, I know everyone sees the word exercise. They freak out. I don't want to exercise. I don't like to exercise. Oh my gosh, that sounds so hard. But just find something that you like to do that gets your body moving. Next one is dry brushing. For those of you who don't know what dry brushing is, you take a dry brush and you can use it again throughout your body. And as you do that, what it does is help to move that lymph, get that detoxification process going. Now, I spoke earlier on about the electromagnetic frequencies and electromagnetic frequency exposure. And it's really important to reduce or eliminate your EMF exposure. I mean, here at South Bay Wellness, we carry something called a Q disc, and I have that on every single one of my devices, my cell phone, my iPad, my computers, because those electromagnetic frequencies create a strain on the body, and we are on these devices regularly. You don't need to have just a device on your phone, though. There are other things you can do. For example, don't put the phone on your head. Put the phone on speaker. Don't carry the phone on your body. Don't use it as an alarm clock. Turn it on to airplane mode. These are all ways that you can avoid having more EMF exposure. Another fantastic daily practice you can do is tongue scraping. And this is an ancient practice that's been used for a long time, Ayurvedic practice. Scrape your tongue, you're pulling the bacteria out of there, and you are, again, enhancing your detoxification. There's a lot of good stuff with hot, cold showers, because the hot, cold showers get your body moving. So another important piece. Clean water. Most people, when they come in, they're not drinking enough. You should be drinking at least half your body weight in ounces of water. So half your body weight in ounces of water. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you need to be drinking 100 ounces of water a day. That water, very important, needs to be clean. So make sure that you are drinking clean water and not just drinking out of plastic water bottles. Having some kind of filtration system is highly recommended. The next one is clean air. Clean air is vitally important because we are always breathing. And there's so much that's coming in from our environment. And believe it or not, a lot of times our indoor spaces are even more toxic than the outdoor spaces because there's not enough flow and not enough circulation, and there's just an accumulation of toxins in the air. So you want to think about making sure that you open the windows. The weather is beautiful. Open the windows, let that air flow. Also, think about considering air purification systems that you have at least in your bedroom place where you're sleeping, where you're spending an extensive amount of time. So clean air is another important piece of detoxification. The next piece is meditation. So this goes back again to thoughts and emotions and how those play a role in toxicity. I mean, we can easily pull out scientific studies that look at, you know, people with cardiovascular disease and compare different stress levels. And you'll find that those with higher stress levels had higher, you know, risks of cardiovascular disease. So stress is really important, and managing that stress is vital to good health. And it is part of detoxification, right? Because if we do all of the other things that I talked about in this presentation so far, and yet we're stressed out lunatics the rest of the time, right? It's not going to do any good. So try mindfulness, try meditation. It doesn't have to be long. It could be 5 minutes a day that you just take to just quiet the mind. Maybe you repeat a mantra, maybe you practice deep breathing. Find something that works for you. I've got 4 small kids. Well, my oldest one is 14, so she's not really small anymore, but I've got 4 kiddos running around, so much going on. And I know that before I get up out of bed in the morning, I need to do my meditation before I even leave the bed. And I do it right there in bed. No one even knows I'm doing it, right? But that's a really important piece. And then finally, as we want to shift the tide of toxic thoughts and toxic emotions, there is nothing more powerful than gratitude. So practicing gratitude, find everything you possibly can to be grateful for. So even the smallest, tiniest things count. And most important, having gratitude for our lives, having gratitude for being alive, and having gratitude that your body has the ability to detoxify. So with that, I really want to leave you with the power that the body has in being able to heal itself. And the more you're able to take on some of these detoxification practices, they're simple, they're easy. Just pick one. Start with just one. When you master that one, then pick another one. Have that other one become a part of your daily routine until you've got multiple of these strategies incorporated into your life. So on a daily basis, you are easily and simply promoting the detoxification of your body. Okay, with that, I thank you for your time. I hope that you learned a lot from this lecture. And like I said, just pick one thing and start with that one thing. Take care.